kitchen. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to teach you how to create a beautiful pilau rice dish using my garam masala, Amali's homemade garam masala. Now, you'll say out there you can find lots of garam masalas. You can find garam masalas in various different shops. Garam masala is so different. Every region has its different blends. Now, for the garam masala that I've done, what my mum used to do, she used to, again, like many people out there, go out there and buy all the different ingredients. You should get the cardamom, the black cardamom, the cloves, the bay leaves, the cinnamon sticks, the cumin. Should get all those and then put them in a blender, grind them all together. But what I've done, again, is helped everybody out there, and I've actually got my own Amali garam masala. And it's beautiful. It's got some coriander seeds in, all the different herbs and spices in there, and that's all you need to create your beautiful pilau rice dish, okay? And obviously you need your ingredients. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to teach you how to cook pilau rice with some lamb chops in. So that's what we're going to do today. So before we do anything else, we need to, you need to go and buy this, and you can get this from www.amali.co.uk. And then let's get ready and chop our onions. We need to slice our onions. So that's what we're going to do first. Slice the onions and fry the onions. Right, so what we've got in here is some oil. Just going to put a little bit more in there. And then just let that heat up, and we're going to add our onions in there. So the onions have got to be thinly sliced. So I've already thinly sliced the onions, and they go in there. You can hear the oil. And these onions are going to be really, really golden brown. We want them to be, we're going to fry these onions as dark as you can get them, but don't burn them. We're caramelizing the onions, not burning them. And that helps with the colour of the rice. Now, some people do put turmeric in, but traditionally what we do is we don't use turmeric. We actually fry the onions until they're golden brown. So really sort of dark, almost burnt, so really caramelized. So that's what we're going to do now. Right, I've got my rice in here. I've got Tilda basmati rice. I always like to go with Tilda basmati rice. I've put the rice in there. I've got about 3 mugs of rice in this dish because I'm making a little bit extra. Now, it's key to remember the mug that you're going to use to measure the rice, that's the mug that I'm going to use later on to pour the water in. Okay, something my mum always taught me, and I continue doing that. So I've got the rice in there. When you're stirring your rice, you've got to make sure you're actually going like this. You're not mixing it too much, and then across around this, and that's it. You just leave that there, and then later on, in about another 10 minutes or so, you come back and do the same thing, okay? So we leave the rice is there, but what I've done also is earlier on, because I said I was going to put mutton mutton chops in the rice, so what I've done is I've cooked those. And I've just separated the action. They're nicely cooked, so put them aside, and the stock is here as well. I'm going to use this when I need, instead of putting the water in, I'm going to use this, okay? So I'm going to measure this, and it just gives a really nice flavour. And in this stock, in the meat here, I also did use my garam masala. It just again gives you this extra flavour, and it's all into the meat as well. So we're just, once the onions are really nice and golden brown, we're going to add the meat in there and coat that, fry that up, and then add the rest of the ingredients. Let's have a look what the onions are doing. So sizzling away there, look. They've changed the colour a little bit. Now don't panic if they're sort of slightly coloured there or a bit cooked. That helps with the colour. So just going to give it a few more minutes. We want it really dark, really nice and dark, because like I said before, it will help. The darker your onions are, it'll help with the colour of your pilau rice, because we're not adding any food colouring or anything else in there. The onions are going to do the job for us. They're going to create the nice pilau rice colour. Okay? So can you see our onions are really nice and brown? There's a few bits that still need browning up, but what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add my garam masala in there before I add the meat, okay? So we're going to add a good amount of garam masala in there, 2 teaspoons, because I've got some extra rice here. So give it a quick stir. And then I'm also going to then add my the chops in there as well. So they go in there.
add a little.
So I'm just going to add the rest of the meat in here with a bit of the juice in there as well, and give it a stir. We just want to brown the meat a little bit. Leave that in there for a moment. I'll just put the lid on. Once the meat is brown, we're going to add the stock in there. Right, let's have a look what's happening with the meat. Well, we can see it changing colour already. So let's just turn it round. And we're going to just add some salt in there as well. Now I have already got some salt in the meat, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a small amount of salt in there, and you could always taste it later and see if we need extra. It's always nice to have quite a bit of salt in the pilau rice. So we've got our garam masala in there, and remember, garam masala's got lots of different herbs. You've got your bay leaves, you've got cinnamon, black cardamom, coriander, cumin, all the different herbs and spices in there. Now if you do want a spicy pilau rice, you can add some red crushed chilies at this stage as well, but we're not going to have it spicy. We're just going to have it nice with the garam masala and without the chili powder, because it's usually with chili powder and it's so spicy. It's got a nice sort of flavour. So just to give it a few more minutes, and then I'm just going to measure the stock. So with the stock, what I will do is, if I put 3 mugs of rice, and then what I would do is I'd put around about, I'd double it and -2 usually. My mum always tells me, so if you've got 4 mugs of rice, you double the rice, which is 8, and then -2, so you only add 6 mugs of water or stock. So I always stick to that. That's what I do. I'm just going to add that in now. And again, you can actually, if you prefer, you can brown your meat a bit longer. And remember, the meat is already cooked, so not to worry. It's just nice to give it a bit of colour, that's all. I'm just going to add a little bit of water in there as well. Helps it as well. Helps with the colour. And just put the lid on for a few more minutes to get all the colour out. I think we're going to be ready now for the stock to go in there. So this meat's changed a little bit colour there. That's it, we're going to put the stock in there. So I'm going to measure this using the same mug that I used for my rice. So when I poured in the rice, so if I've got 3 cups of rice, I'm going to go with around about 4 mugs of the stock. So I'll pour that in there. And then let that boil for a few minutes. And again, when you get your rice in there, it's just need a little bit extra because I need to measure this properly there. Just a little bit more because that wasn't... Okay, so we're just going to let that boil. Right, let's have a look. So this is nicely boiling away. And now we're ready to add in our drained rice. I'm just going to get the rice in here, gently pour it all in there. And it's important that you don't stir the rice too much, okay, because it will break. We want some nice long grain rice and all separated. So what we're doing now is stir it that way and then this way again. One more time up. And then just put the lid on there and let it cook for a while until all the stock has disappeared. Let's have a look. Now the stock has all disappeared, and I can see the rice is not quite cooked yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a wet tea towel and I'm going to cover it on the top, so all the steam is going to help the rice cook. So that's what I'll do, because it's actually not quite cooked. So what I've got here now is I've got a wet tea towel, because my rice is not quite cooked. I'm just going to double check. There's a little bit of stock there. And it's just sticking at the bottom there. And this needs to go in the oven now. So before it goes into the oven, I'm just going to cover this with a wet tea towel. My lid back on. That'll just keep it damp and it won't dry the rice too much. So that's all we need to do. And now put this in the oven for about 10-15 minutes on around about 75 degrees. So that should be on a very low heat, not too high, and then your rice is done.